Aloha, it's Dave Lawrence. How are you? Big mahalo for tuning in. Today I am welcoming a very special guest on the line ahead of a 4-island 5-concert tour of the state. He'll be in Kona on January 20th, Hilo on the 21st, Kauai January 22nd, and on Maui January 27th. Honolulu at LCC, Leeward Community College, January 28th. There will be master classes as well as arts and education talks, and all by a gifted performer you know from stage and screen. He's won Tonys, he's won Emmys, he's endured decades under the glare of the spotlight, whether on Broadway with Wicked Hair, Jesus Christ Superstar, or A Christmas Carol, or on the screen in Roots, or Louis Armstrong Chicago Style, from TV like Grey's Anatomy, Law & Order, Star Trek, a laundry list of awards, accolades, and recognition for his humanitarian work. It's a wonderful thrill to welcome my friend, whose lovely and talented daughter Malika was my classmate in college, the great Ben Vereen.
Mahalo. And greetings. Aloha to all the islands. I can't wait to get there.
And we can't wait.
The Son of God.
It's going to be huge, bro, having you back. And
thank you.
We'll talk about these gigs here because the people are curious. What are we going to see? What's he doing this time around?
Well, this time around, I'm putting together a show to go to Broadway. And so I'll be working out the material on the islands. And my son's going to be with me playing djembe and kunga. I have some great musicians and hopefully pick up a local, and we're going to have a good time.
Wow, that's really cool. So this is working out original material for a production. What sort of material is it?
Well, it's theater, it's rock, it's reggae, it's party time.
And it'll be a duo show, just the two of you, or?
No, it's going to be, it'll be me and with my band. My son's playing in the band.
Nice. Okay, so it's you, your son, the full band, and rehearsing music that is going to, and material that'll be part of one show or a variety of shows?
Yes, one show. One show. It's called Tenacity.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, tenacity is about how we overcome and how we persevere. You know, I tell people, to go after their dreams with tenacity, not letting go. Go after them with determination. And so that's how I've lived my life pretty much, and my whole career is reflecting on my career and the people that have encouraged me to stick to it. And people like Sammy Davis and Frank Sinatra and Bob Fosse and, Tom O'Horgan, directors, just to mention a few. It's about roots. It's about also having a deep spiritual rootedness in who we are and knowing that whom we are and going forward in that belief of ourselves and that which has made us, which is greater than ourselves. And
a whole lot of recognition, I guess, from mentors and people who've played crucial roles along the way in shaping you.
Exactly. A lot of my friends on the island have done just that.
That's really something. Now, when you think about the show, before we talk about your island connections, the show's variation from night to night, because as I mentioned in the introduction, it is a 4-island 5-concert tour, so there's 5 separate performances. Is there variation among them, or do you work out a tight set list that's going to sort of replicate the show?
Well, we do have a type list, but I'm the type of organic performer. When I get to an audience, and they pretty much dictate the show, because it's about us being in one room together and letting the spirit have its way. So therefore, I leave myself open to that.
That's cool.
So it may take a twist every island. It may take a twist in that evening.
Yeah, I like that. That's a really cool thing. And that's the power that a cat like yourself with this diverse kind of entertainment background can bring. When you think about your history here with Hawaii, how far back does it go, Ben? Where do your memories start?
Back to down-ho days.
Start us back there.
Beyond. I can remember down-ho, and I walking down the street towards the Hilton. And I was walking very fast. And I turned around. Don was walking slow. And I said, Don, come on, man. He said, hey, my island, my pace.
Hawaii time, bro, right there.
Hawaii time. I slowed down, and I began to smell the roses.
You were so you came here first as a performer, I take it.
Yes. I played a few hotels there, and I went to a place called the Aloha Dive Shop where I got certified.
Oh, wow.
About 10, 12 years ago, maybe more.
Wow, here on this island you got certified.
On the island, that's right.
That's very, very cool. And the other islands, what's your history with going and playing on?
Well, my first time to Maui. I can't wait. Those places I have not been. So I'm looking forward to meeting my friends there.
You've never, ever been, ever, to Maui?
No, never, ever been.
That's really
I got a good friend of mine who lives there. I got friends who live there, but I have not had the opportunity to go visit them. Of course, you guys took Wally Amos from us, so Wally's down there, and my friend Shep Gordon's down there, so I got to jump on over.
Everybody's over. That's cool. So are those the people? I was going to say, give a shout out to anybody who lives here.
Yes. Dana Lau, hello. Uli Cutter, hello. All my friends down there.
That's really cool.
My friends who work at the symphony, and I'm claiming that you're going to have a symphony again.
Well, we are there. Man, that's been a struggle, and
I know it has been, but you know something? Because you have perseverance and you have tenacity, the island will have a symphony orchestra again.
That's a great way to incorporate your theme, I guess it is, too, for this upcoming production, sort of. No joke. I mean, really, what you're saying is true. It's about tenacity or something like that could not possibly survive.
That's right.
I was taking a look at your Wikipedia page. It's got a great story about how at 25 you learned you were adopted. You were applying for a passport to go do a stage production. Talk a little bit about that guy, Sammy Davis Jr., and working with him.
And people ask me, why you picture? I picture Sammy because a number of reasons. One, and the most important thing is he was an icon before the word icon was even upon our lips. He blazed the way for a lot of people, and he touched my life when I was a child. And also, I have a show I call Vereen Sings the Music of Sammy Davis Jr., where I do all of his charts. That's just a big band show, which I'd like to bring back to the islands at some point. But in my show, I incorporate a little bit of that show. And Sammy, I was on my way, we were going to London, and I didn't have a passport. I didn't know about getting a passport because I'm from Brooklyn. And so anything outside of Brooklyn was like another country. So I should have had a passport a long time ago. And I wrote down to Florida, where I was born, and I asked for my passport, and they said they didn't have my name registered. However, they had somebody else's name registered, a woman named S.E. Middleton, whom I found out is my mother. And I called my mother and asked her about it, and she said, all she said was, I was hoping you would never know. Because in those days, I guess, in the 40s, when a woman loses a child, the authorities, especially a black woman in the mainland, they didn't care. And so when I met my mother, I came back from her and I looked at her, I said, you're the only mother I've ever known. And so I waited till she made her transition. She died. And then I went searching for my biological mother, and I found them. I found my family about 4 years ago in Connecticut, and I lived in Brooklyn, 1 hour away.
Oh, wow. And you waited.
That's going to all be part of my book, and eventually it's going to be we're working part of that into the show, and it won't be ready when I come to Hawaii, but we'll be working on it, so we may be dropping some songs about that journey, and what it meant to me to actually find a biological family. Matter of fact, I'm taping an Oprah show. We're doing a commemoration for Roots for 35 years, and that'll be part of the show. We'll be talking about it then. That'll air in January, probably about the time when I'm down on the islands. But it was fascinating. It's a fascinating thing. Because I thought I was one person, then I found that I'm not that person. And then you find a family, and I was blown away. When I found my family, they were having a family reunion that year, and there was maybe 65 people showing up. Once they found out, 120 showed up when they found out Chicken George was part of their family. So it's like Chicken George finds his roots.
That's good stuff, dude.
Thank you.
That is a great way of putting it, huh? And
yeah.
Wow, I can't believe that you waited. I find that a real interesting aspect that you said. Well,
I love this woman, Pauline Vereen. The Vereens. I loved them. They're my family. She cared for me. As a matter of fact, when I met my sister, and I told my sister, I apologized. I said, I'm sorry we didn't have a childhood together and we didn't have a life. She said, don't apologize, because you probably wouldn't have been Vereen if you'd came with us.
Yeah, that's there's a lot of truth in that, for sure.
Yes, there is. We never know. I believe that we're all destined, when we come to this planet, for our journey, and that was my journey.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I was born in Miami, Florida, Dade County.
Wow.
And that's all I knew. And my mother is from a place called Laurinburg, North Carolina. And she left me with friends and came back, and I was gone. So I don't know what the true story is, what happened. We're getting to that because both parents are now deceased. But they're still searching for my father now, Mr. Middleton, Benjamin Middleton, whom I was obviously named after. So we're looking for him.
What an incredible story. The story goes on. That'll be for the second edition of the play when you take that bad boy to the next level. Just a couple memories. You all right with time, Ben, or do you need to go?
I'm good with time.
Okay, just double checking. A couple memories that I was just curious about that are part of your history, and it shows how wide and varied and colorful and wonderful your history is. 1980, you very briefly did a TV series with Jeff Goldblum, the 10-speed and brown.
My favorite, 10-speed and brown.
What is he like to work with? He seems like a fascinating guy.
He's wonderful to work with. He's very professional, and he just loves his work, and it showed. Our chemistry just matched. It was wonderful. I'm kind of sorry that show only did 10. It's now on DVD, which you get everything on DVD, and you can pull up the shows and watch them. But we had a wonderful time. Stephen Cannell and his vision. He's a wonderful writer. He gave us Wild Wild West. He gave us, some other shows, great shows that he gave us, as well as 10 Street Brown and Starbuck, which I did also.
Was
wonderful.
Are you still tight with him? Do you ever talk to him anymore?
Unfortunately, Jeff?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff, as a matter of fact, going to do my documentary. So we were in touch every now and then, and we keep threatening to do a jazz set together because he plays piano.
Yeah, I haven't seen him do any work in a while, and I just always like watching him, and that was a cool TV series. Had to give you some credit for it, bro. That was all the things you said about it. I concur. It was it was very well done. A funny appearance. You're welcome. A funny appearance in your life that for all of us who are a little bit younger, The Muppets, 1976.
Yes, The Muppets, and I have a show called Zoobly Zoo, which I did for Hawaii. I play a snow leopard. I love doing that because I was like a human cartoon.
You have any good memories of that, or does anything stick out about doing that?
Yeah, I keep running into adults now saying I grew up on Zoobly Zoo. That knocks me out.
When I think about the last record, Steppin' Out Live, which is your first live CD released in 2011, what a mix of material on that. You got Frank Sinatra tunes on there, right? On that mix of tunes?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What experiences...
These were people that touched my life. I ran with Frank and Sammy. I ran with the Rat Pack.
Tell me about hanging with him.
Liza Minnelli's a good friend of mine, and we were like the kids. We'd be running around with them. Running around with Joey Bishop and Frank Sinatra and Peter Lawford, Sammy Davis. It was quite a time.
How'd you meet Frank?
Vegas, as I call it.
No doubt, with that kind of crew. How did you first meet Frank?
I was doing my show. I was doing my show, and he'd show up, and I'd go up to see his show. After I went to Vegas with a show called Sweet Charity with Julia Prowse, is how I first got there. And I would go around to various shows, and I'd hang out at his show. And when I began to make it, all of a sudden, Frank started calling me, and we did some work together, and it was great.
What's an enduring memory you have of spending time with him, or a lesson maybe you learned from him?
Well, I learned a lesson of the seriousness of work. And he was so great. I remember sitting with him one time, and he said to me, Ben, if anybody hits you, you tell me. Okay, Frank. I'll tell you another story. I had just done a show called Jesus Christ Superstar.
Right.
And around the corner was a place called Jilly's. Now, Jilly was like Frank's right-hand man. And in those days, I was what they call a black hippie, which is sort of an oxymoron. But I go to this Italian restaurant. I don't know who Jilly was, and I walk in, and the guy, of course, I wasn't dressed. The maitre d' says, "Not in here, you don't." And I look at the guy, and this guy leans back, and he goes, "He's okay, let him in." And that was Jilly.
Wow.
That was Jilly. And then from that, Frank showed up, and I went, wow.
You got the best stories, dude. You really and you know the thing about you when you mentioned something about the work ethic thing that he mentioned, that Frank Sinatra mentioned to you, and I think of a lot about your career and sort of how I introduced you and the kind of variety, the kind of tenacity, perseverance that it's taken to survive under the brutal glare of the spotlight. There's another cat who I've always, not always, but maybe later in my life as I grew up, I admired for the same sort of thing. And I wondered if you ever crossed his path. And that would be Michael Jackson, who had a strong work ethic.
Oh, yes, Michael. And, let's give praise to Michael. It's sad because, I went to his when he had the This Is It release party. And it was a party. It was huge. And I was a little hurt. I was hurt because of the fact that they didn't get it. I wanted somebody to say, hey, Michael, we apologize because of the fact that we treated them. He came to this planet with genius for us. Now, inside of his humanness, he had his own demons he had to deal with, but the art stands for itself to this day. I've known this kid for a long time. He was with the Jackson 5, and he wanted one thing, to sing and dance for you. For us, and he did that. And if we listen to what he was saying rather than what the media was telling us, this guy was, first of all, he was saying we can save the world if we help the children. He was saying, look out for the environment. We've got to do something about this environment. We've got to feed the hungry. He was saying these things through his music and through his performances and through his videos. That was his main thrust, was world harmony, world love, and we miss him.
He must have looked up to you and admired you for your place in Black American culture specifically.
Well, thank you. I would hope so.
I can just imagine that he would treat you. I mean, you must have had a nice relationship with him just because of your character, who you were.
Yes, we did. We had a wonderful relationship.
Ah.
And I'll never forget my godson, when he handed it off to my godson, Usher, that night in Madison Square Garden. I'll never forget that.
And you were there and watching that?
I was there, yes. Because I was there with Usher. I was there watching in Madison Square Garden. They was giving a tribute to him. And he got up on stage and he handed it off to Usher.
2001 thing.
I had no idea what he was doing at the time. And then years later we find out this had hit.
Is there any lesson that you learned about tenacity or music or longevity from any other artist that really sticks out that you can just offer as a final note to sort of, not a final note, but as we wrap this conversation up, what it is that is important?
Well, what it is, what tenacity is stick to itness. If you look up the definition, it says it'll say things like a sense of staying with it, not letting go. Holding on to your dreams with great vigor and vigor. It's I've met, and when I've looked, Sammy Davis Jr. is probably the prime example. To his death, this man, I worked with him and I watched him work. I've seen many artists. Let's go to modern day. Let's go to one. I went and mentioned one, Usher. Let's talk about Will Smith. Let's talk about a lot of the actors that are out there today. But in my day, all those actors had that same tenacity about their work. And it wasn't because of the fact they were looking for a paycheck. Yes, paycheck is good. Don't get me wrong. We want that. But they would have, Sammy could say a thing. He would say, if you open the refrigerator door, I'll give you 45 minutes. Once you open the refrigerator door, the light would come on. He'd go into his act. So that's like his spotlight.
And then on he goes.
Spotlight's on him, and he'll give you 45 minutes of his act.
Wow.
He wanted to work all the time, is what I'm saying.
He's constantly.
And he would give constantly, consistently. And not just a small, he gave all. That's what Bob Fosse taught us to work also. You don't mark anything, you do it. And you find the mistakes in the marking it full, and you correct them.
Yeah, I guess it's that total love for doing what you're doing that keeps guys like him.
And that applies to everything. Not only the arts, but life itself. To go in life with tenacity. Whatever you're doing, you may not like what you're doing, but who are you to judge it? Do it. And watch what shows up. Do put your whole heart in it and watch what shows up. Your final dream and complete dream. Because you're completing a vision.
Yeah, it'll grow like that when you focus on it. You're talking about focus too, to some degree, yeah?
Exactly.
Do you meditate by any chance?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do, and I love meditating on the island.
Do you see that as and what you were just explaining to me, do you see that as a value in helping you focus on stuff?
Always. Yes, for me, yes.
Yeah, I can imagine, because I can imagine that would be a way to help manifest your dreams a little more and stay focused, stay disciplined. Discipline, that's a word we weren't
That's right.
We weren't using.
Sometimes, we will have a certain concept of ourselves, and we hold a vision for that, and then something different comes. So, like I tell people, we say, I want a Jaguar. Let's just say that for an example. I'm meditating for a Jaguar, and a Volkswagen shows up. And most people can complain about the Volkswagen. So what the universe is saying, give praise for that which you have, and so get in that Volkswagen and drive to your Jaguar.
Right. I'm with you. I'm totally with you on that. Yeah, I mean, these are valuable lessons. That's why I like hearing them from you. And I also, the fact that it means a lot you would share these little stories that Sammy Davis Jr. told you, that Frank told you. I can't thank you enough for being willing to dig through your treasure trove of memories, Michael experiences, because not only have you shared your own perspective and some of the things that made you persevere through the years, but by being willing to share what got some of these legends like yourself through the years too, makes this interview even more special. So I give you a big hug and a high five. I can't wait till you get here. I hope we get to hang, and I'm supposed to do an in-studio thing, so I'll be looking forward to having you here.
I look forward to it too. We'll have a good time. And tell all my friends on the islands, I can't wait. Is it January yet?
Almost. You're good, man. I give you a hug. I'll see you when you get here, boss. And
I'll see you then.
You travel safe, Ben. I hope this was okay.
It was wonderful. It was great, and I can't wait to get in the studio with you when we're face to face and share.
Is Malika coming or no?
No, Malika's not coming. She's in Boston. I'll probably see her in the new year.
Cool.
I'll tell her you said hello.
Yeah, tell her I said a big hello. You be safe. I'll see you soon, boss. Take care.
Okay.
Aloha.